Pardon?
Are you doing a news piece?
Just having a look at your cars now, really. Just saw his PC was idling up there, and I figured she was going to be coming out in a second. So, yeah, just waiting for... Oh, my days. Hang on, so we got an inspector,
I'm
a PC?
Yeah.
PC? Inspector. So we got 4 police officers for a man with a camera.
Right.
But it's quite intimidating, isn't it, having 4 people come out?
There's private vehicles there as well as vehicles that are unmarked.
Sure, but
I'm just wondering what your purpose
but it's quite
is.
intimidating having 4 officers come out and accost somebody with a camera.
You're here on police premises.
Yeah, but
so
like 4 people.
We need to
Really?
establish whether there's a security issue.
Okay.
So, do you want to talk to me about what you're here for? I've got no issue with you filming, but as I've said, there's private vehicles.
Yeah, it's not my intention to get those. If they're in the background of a shot, they're in the background of a shot. But I'm not here to. I'm not
doing a news piece. Do you want an interview? I'll talk to you if you'd like to have an interview.
Not particularly. No, just want to have a look around. That's all. Just like to look around.
I saw you obviously trying to walk around there. So I was just wondering.
You should be careful with the information that you say like that, because I wasn't trying to walk around there. So
The scene opens with a statement in itself. 4 officers, led by an inspector, march straight at the auditor. No pause, no scan of the situation, just instant intervention. The inspector starts with a classic soft touch, assuring she's fine with filming, but immediately slips in the hook. There are private vehicles in the car park, a subtle setup, framing the space as sensitive before anything even happens. Then, right on cue, her colleague lands a blow, a bold claim that the auditor tried to enter the private car park. That's not an observation, it's an accusation. Crossing the line? No. Illegal? Definitely not. But here's the game. If they can sell the idea that he intended to cross it, they've manufactured the perfect pretext to step in. Suspicion, built on the spot.
I was stood there for a good 4 minutes watching you in your vehicle, and I saw the sign saying no unauthorised access. So don't tell me that I was trying to walk places where I wasn't. Be careful with things like that.
Have you got the footage that you need?
I'm not sure yet, to be honest.
Okay, but I'd like you to leave, because as I've said, there are private vehicles there, that you've got some footage. You've got enough. There's nothing.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the footage that I was getting was actually interrupted by the PC stopping and coming out. Okay. But so I'll probably wait around to see if any more vehicles come in or out. See if I can get one on blue lights.
You shouldn't do that, because as I've said, there's private cars coming in and out. Officers don't want you recording them coming and going from duty, because that presents a potential security risk.
Well, they shouldn't drive to work then, really, should they? If they're that concerned.
You have no business to film the private areas that are off limit to the public.
I have every business to film anything that's visible from a public area.
But my point is, you shouldn't be going up there, which is what you've done.
I haven't gone past the signage where your signage is. It doesn't say the signage. The signage is the signage here saying that I can't go further than this, or is the signage there saying I can't go further than there?
She leans on the phrase private vehicles like it's some magic rule that cancels public rights. In reality, the cars don't matter. They are visible from a public space, which makes filming them perfectly lawful. But by repeating the phrase, she plants the idea that the auditor is somewhere off limits, softening the ground for her next move. You've got enough footage. That's not legislation. It's a deciding the audit ends when she says so. From there, she slides neatly into her colleague's false narrative, warning the auditor he shouldn't be going up there. The problem? She never saw him cross a line, never checked the signage herself. She simply adopts the accusation and delivers it with authority. But the auditor knows the layout better than she does and shuts it down. The restricted zone starts further ahead. He hasn't crossed it, and the law is on his side.
My personal use, public interest.
Well, my personal vehicle is there, and I'm asking you, from me to you as a private individual, I'm not comfortable with you violating my personal space.
It's not your personal space. It's
my vehicle there, my private vehicle is there, and I'm not comfortable with you filming that.
Well, if you hadn't announced that it was your private vehicle, nobody would ever have known.
I'm telling you it is, so
no, you are
I'm
doing now.
You to stop. Yeah,
well, I'm not going to. It's in a public area.
In which case, you'll have to be removed to prevent the breach of the peace, because you are.
How am I breaching the peace? Do you know what the threshold is for breach of the peace?
You already have enough footage, so I'm asking you to leave.
Okay.
You're creating these officers aren't able to get on with their policing.
I'm not stopping them.
The inspector's reaction is staggering. She claims, "My personal vehicle is there, and I'm asking you, from me to you, as a private individual. I'm not comfortable with you violating my personal space." But personal space here makes no sense. She's on duty, in uniform, talking about a police-only car park that doesn't belong to her and is openly visible from the street. You can't claim personal space over an area you don't own, especially one in plain public view. The auditor rightly points out that it's not her personal space. Still, she doubles down, insisting she doesn't want her vehicle filmed. The irony? If she hadn't made the connection herself, no viewer would have known which car was hers. She exposed her own link, turning something anonymous into something personal. That's not a privacy breach by the auditor. That's her own tactical blunder. Then comes the escalation. She threatens that if filming continues, he'll be removed to prevent a breach of the peace. That's not lawful. Breach of the peace applies to imminent violence or disorder, not to stopping a citizen from exercising a legal right just because an officer feels uncomfortable.
Individuals, as I was getting on with a matter that's of concern to the community, and I've got an individual on police premises filming not only the police cars coming and going, but officers arriving for duty and leaving again. That causes me a concern.
So you're working on conjecture there, because I have specifically said that that is not my intention.
I've said to you, you're causing me a concern. So
Okay.
I'd like you to leave.
Well, you're concerned. Do police by your feelings in this country, or do you police by what the law is?
I'd like you to leave.
Do you police by what?
I'd like you to leave.
Do you police by what the law is, or do you
Sir,
police
I'm gonna
by?
get the officers to take you away because you are not.
Am I in a
Look,
public place?
There are officers having private conversations about cases in the backyard of the police station.
Well, they shouldn't be.
which is not-
They shouldn't be
and you
having
are-
that conversation in that sort of place.
But you shouldn't be there within the scope of being able
I can
to
be.
film them.
Do you know you can film anything you can see from a public place in the UK?
Okay.
Is this a public place?
This is a public place.
There you go. So if I can
you
film
are-
it.
Let me put it a different way. If you stand at the end of my driveway at home, which
Sure.
is a public place, repairable at public expense,
Sure.
and you film into my window, is that acceptable?
Is this your home? Do you live here? Do you sleep here?
But these are private premises. Beyond this line here, you are filming from a public into a private space. Is that
Okay.
permitted?
Yes.
Is in a public place, so she reaches for the classic hypothetical trap. If you stood at the end of my driveway at home, which is public, and filmed into my window, would that be acceptable? It's a weak comparison from the outset. Filming into someone's private home can raise genuine privacy concerns under Protection from Harassment Act or even the Data Protection Act in some cases. But this isn't a home, it's a police station. There's no expectation of domestic privacy here. The auditor cuts through instantly. Is this your home? Do you live here? That's the crux. The law draws a clear line between a private residence and a workplace, especially one run by a public authority. She tries to recover, saying, "This is private premises. You're filming from a public space into a private one." And technically, yes, it is private premises. But the principle is simple. If it's lawfully visible from a public vantage point, it can be filmed. Her driveway analogy isn't law. It's a distraction. A red herring, shifting the debate from legal ground to emotional appeal.
Me, personally, harassment and alarm by filming here.
Go talk to the Lord Justice Bean about it. The police have a much higher threshold.
To leave and then you're going to go.
No,
Otherwise
I'm
you'll
not.
Be arrested.
I'm not.
Sure you-
Arrest me?
Yes,
You're going
be
to arrest me. You'll be hearing from my
Absolutely.
solicitors, and you'll be having a civil suit on your hands.
Okay,
Arrest me for
give
what?
me solicitors
What are you going to
details
arrest
and
me
let them know
for?
You are causing a nuisance.
What are you
here.
going to arrest me for?
Either public nuisance or harassment.
Public nuisance.
Yeah.
So under the new legislation that came with a public. So
And you've got your opportunity to film.
So you-
I'd like you to not film or certainly delete anything that has details of my personal vehicle or that of any of the police officers there, and then I want you to go. All right?
you don't put a time limit on my rights.
From getting on with
No,
the
I'm exercising my rights here, and you don't put a time limit on that, Inspector. Inspector what? Blackwell? Thank you.
No, are you all right with me? Yeah, go and do it.
Yeah, see, I'm obviously not that much of a concern because you're allowing them to go about their business, yet you're threatening to arrest me. Tyrants here at Stamford.
The inspector's last move before retreating into the station is nothing but an empty threat. She tells the auditor, "You've got 2 minutes, then you're going to go." He refuses, standing firm, so she raises the stakes, or else you're going to be arrested for being a public nuisance. And that's where the whole act unravels. Public nuisance isn't a catch-all charge for behavior an officer doesn't like. In law, it's a serious and specific offense, historically tied to endangering life, obstructing public rights, or causing real, widespread harm. Since 2022, it's codified under Section 78 of the Police Crime, Sentencing, and Courts Act, and it still requires substantial harm or risk to the public. Quietly filming from a lawful spot doesn't even come close. That threat wasn't lawful. It was an attempt to intimidate, a plain misuse of authority. Chief Inspector John Shields' response is just as telling. He starts by justifying Inspector Blackwell, saying she was within her rights to ask what the auditor was doing. Fair enough, asking questions is one thing. But he sidesteps what actually happened. False claims about the auditor's movements, a baseless personal space claim, threats of arrest for public nuisance, and even an attempt to brand lawful filming as a breach of the peace. None of that falls under within her rights. Shield admits the auditor wasn't always on police property, but then argues that filming toward police property may well cause concern. But concern is subjective and legally meaningless unless tied to reasonable suspicion of an actual offense. In this case, there was none. Shield never addresses that. Instead, he echoes the same hollow reason the inspector leaned on, just dressed in formal language. The real disappointment comes when he declares he doesn't believe the inspector acted unprofessionally. The footage proves otherwise. Professionalism isn't just about staying calm. It's about applying the law correctly, avoiding baseless threats, and not using authority to enforce personal feelings. Blackwell failed on all counts, claiming personal space over police car park, using a flawed driveway analogy, and threatening arrest without legal basis. Shield had the evidence but still rubber-stamped her behavior. That's a problem with internal reviews. They protect the badge, not the public. His conclusion that no further action is required ignores clear breaches of judgment and conduct court on camera. If inspectors can now threaten unlawful arrests, merge personal feelings with official powers, and rely on false analogies without consequence, then the complaints process isn't about accountability. It's about closing ranks. The footage proves what the review denies. This wasn't measured policing. It was misuse of authority, start to finish. And by defending it, Shield didn't just excuse one inspector. He showed the public how little the system is willing to hold its own to account. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps keep this coverage independent. And check out PTTP. His channel's linked below. Show him some support. Thanks for watching. This was Rate the Audit, and I'll see you in the next one.